Good morning. I am up, showered, and dressed, and here at the tread desk, and I'm going to update you on day 22 of my 30-day health challenge. And to be perfectly honest, I'm so glad that there's only 8 more days left of doing these videos. I had no idea what I was taking on to myself to be faithful to do a video each day. So I will tell you that my morning fasting glucose this morning was 88, and backtracking, yesterday morning was 83, then the morning before that was 77, the morning before that was 84, the morning before that was 77, the morning before that was 81, but the morning before that was 97. So, doing pretty well on my morning fasting glucoses. I would like to be in the mid to high 70s consistently, but I'm just going to keep working towards that. This morning, my weight was 139.4, and I will go ahead and show you a screen of my of the numbers as from where the dots on the screen, because it's just dots tracking the starting point and then the movement up and down as I've progressed through this 22 days. So I'll show you a screen of that. But basically I started at 144.4 on July 15th, which was day 1. Here we are, day 22. I'm at 139.4. I have been as low as 138, I think. I'm looking back on my information. I think I did get down to 138 one morning. Yes, okay, I did. So, and that was on 8/1. Today's 8/5, August 5th. My blood pressure has improved. Not that I was sharing that day by day with you, but I can go back in my record and share the blood pressure when I started. I'm scrolling back here. So on 7/15, I was right around the low 120s over low 70s. So I had a 123 over 74. Just with a few pounds weight loss, the last 3 mornings, I've had blood pressures of 104 over 59, 105 over 65, 105 over 58. That's a great improvement. I know that 120 over 10, 120 over 70, 120 over 80 is considered a normal blood pressure, but that's really an acceptable blood pressure. A healthier blood pressure is below that, 110 over something. So, blood pressure is looking good. I'm content with the weight loss. When I finish this 30 days, what I think I'll do is pick up with the next data-driven fasting challenge. Let me get the date on that. So the next data-driven fasting challenge will be starting August 27th, and that 30-day window will be from August 27th to September 24th. And at that point, I actually may make another set of 30 videos, even though this has been a challenge, and do them a whole lot shorter, tighter, more concise, because I know not everybody wants to hear me, blab on. They just want the basic nuts and bolts. So I may do another challenge with the group during that period of time, maybe start a day before the group and actually just be that one-day lead to record a video, release it, let them see, just the basics of what they need to accomplish. I think that might be helpful to some people. So, being on day 22, that means that I'm in the phase of data-driven fasting known as meal skipping. And I pulled up an article from Marty on that phase. It's phase 4, and so this is just an overview. And it says, rather than thinking in terms of an eating window, it could be more useful simply to limit the number of times you eat each day. In phase 4, you can use either your daily weight or your waking blood sugar as a guide to whether you should have one less meal than usual today. While it's nice to have a tighter eating window to help you manage your food intake, limiting the number of times you eat a day will achieve the same result, potentially with less hunger. Meal skipping is also a great way to manage your energy intake, fats and carbs, without tracking calories. Varying the number of times you eat each day can give you more time in a calorie deficit when insulin is low and your fat stores are being used. Remember, if you're overweight, you're just walking around with unused, unaccessed energy. You've got this stored fat on your body that you're not using up. If your waking blood sugar is above your average or your weight is not dropping in line with your target, you can simply turn off one of these eating opportunities, which will reduce your calorie intake for that day. So, for someone like me who does typically OMAD, now I've been having, yesterday I had 2 meals, that was Thursday, and Wednesday I had 2 meals. So I'm not surprised that I didn't have any drop in weight. I didn't binge or overeat on anything. It was reasonable. But for a person who's OMAD, it means that I would definitely need to focus on a fuel, not both fats and carbs, just a fuel, and even to pull back from both fuels so that I'm doing something along the lines of the Trim Healthy Mama fuel pull eating, where fats and carbs are both low and I have protein. But I'd have more protein in my one meal than a typical fuel pull, Trim Healthy Mama fuel pull meal would be. So looking at the dashboard on my phone, my trigger hasn't dropped. I'm still at 81 for my personal hunger trigger. And let's see about the daily lesson. I can share that with you. The question is, what should you eat after fasting? It says, and it's not very long. I can scroll on the phone and show you that it's not very long. It's just that. So it says, what you eat is just as important as when, how much, or how often you eat. If you fill up on food that is energy dense, fats and carbs, and nutrient poor, your body will crave nutrients again sooner. So when you eat, do whatever you can to maximize nutrient density. And here in the app, if you had it on your phone, you could click on the words nutrient density and it would take you to more information about what does that mean. And I've got a graphic that I want to share with you here that I'll put up on the screen about nutrient, or maybe it's calorie density. Let's see here. I'm opening it right now. Calorie density. And in a way, it's the same, nutrient density versus calorie density. I'll share that with you. It comes from a website called TOBERE, TOBERE. And I'll link that in the description box, so you can go follow that if you want. So when you eat, do whatever you can to maximize nutrient density to ensure you're getting the nutrients you need with fewer meals and less energy. Energy is fats and carbs, comes from fats and carbs. To help with this, we have developed a range of printable PDF food lists to help you optimize your diet so that you can access those in the Optimizing Nutrition Community platform, and there's a tab, it says here, you could touch on that and it would take you to that platform. I'm going to link that platform in the description box. If your blood glucose is still elevated, we recommend the blood glucose and fat loss food list. However, if your blood glucose is relatively stable, you can go straight for the fat loss food list. So there's resources that you'll be able to access through going into the description box and accessing the Optimizing Nutrition Community. It's actually, let me look at the description link so I can tell you exactly what to look for. It's basically the very first resource that will be in the description box called Free Data Driven Community, which is off Facebook, and it gives a link there. And then it also ends with, we have also created a series of NutriBooster recipe books optimized for a range of goals. And the table below will help you find the right recipe book for you. Click on the name of the book in the table to learn more. That doesn't show up in this message, so there's a little lack of detail there. But anyway, you would be able to find all that stuff in the community once you use the community link. I got another Dario shipment of my test strips. So this is what they send to me. I'll show this to you. I think I showed it on another video, but that doesn't mean you've seen all the videos. So I get 3 of these boxes of 100 blood glucose test strips. They finally stopped sending me the Lancettes. So here are my 3 boxes of glucose test strips that I use. And in each of these boxes, there are 4 of the cartridges. So 4 foil packets that are the cartridges, and I think you probably would recognize by now a cartridge. So I changed the take out the empty cartridge from my meter. So I'm pulling my meter out. So my Dario meter here, and I can just take off the end of the test strip, and this is where the cartridge end is with the test strips. This one's still pretty full, but when it gets empty or it gets down to the last 2 or 3, I will go ahead and pull that out, take those last 2 or 3 strips and put it into this cartridge and pop the new cartridge in here. So I really like not having to keep track of my test strips for myself. Dario keeps track of them and just sends them to me as I use up test strips, so I never run out. Speaking of running out, I need to run to Walmart and get something, and I think while I'm there, I'm going to record a little section in the Walmart pharmacy area to show you the Rely On Premier $20 glucose kit, because the 2 things I recommend are for newbies that are just getting started, get the $20 Rely On Premier kit. And if you find by the time you're getting near the using up the 50 test strips in that kit, that you're going to continue to use a glucose meter as your fuel gauge, then the more financially wise thing to do is get the $200 Dario annual subscription with unlimited test strips. Because if you're going to be regularly testing, that $200 a year for unlimited test strips will be more cost effective than just buying replacement test strips at Walmart in the pharmacy section at 18 cents a test strip. So I'm headed to Walmart. I am out running an errand and I got hungry, so I'm gonna test and see what my glucose is, because that's the whole idea, the big idea, the main idea of data-driven fasting, to test your glucose when you get hungry to see if your glucose number indicates whether you need to fast a little longer or go ahead and fuel. So I will go ahead and give you the number in just a second. Well, 81, that's my personal hunger trigger. So I'm right there, and as soon as I get home, I will go ahead and break my fast and enjoy my meal. And maybe I'll share that meal with you when I'm home. But right now, it's finish the errand and get home, because I am hungry. All right, this is the section you want in Walmart, the diabetic care section. And you don't have to be a diabetic, and you don't have to have a prescription to use a glucose meter as your fuel gauge. So what I'm pointing you to is one of these $20 kits, $19.88. So in this kit, you have all the supplies you need to test yourself 50 times and get a glucose reading and be able to use your glucose number as a fuel gauge to know whether you need to fuel again or whether you need to wait a little bit and let your glucose fall. And then once you've run out of the test strips that are in here, then you would get some, you could buy some extra test strips. So now they're 20 cents a piece. For this bottle of 25, it's $5. You can get, you can save money though, 18 cents a piece for 100 test strips. So $17.88 for 100 test strips, that's 17.9 cents a piece. Getting a glucose meter and using it as your fuel gauge will greatly improve your weight and your wellness situation. I am very ready to break my fast. And this is one of my yogurt bowls that I mix up yogurt. Usually I add some, integral collagen, and I might add whey, or I might add the creamy dreamy hemp protein powder. This time it's collagen and whey and creamy dreamy hemp powder that I used, a little bit of each, to add in different kinds of proteins to go along with the yogurt. And then I have blueberries and pumpkin seeds and chia seeds and some chopped walnuts that were left over in the freezer, hemp seeds and flaxseed ground up. There are 5 Brazil nuts in the middle and a sliced banana. So I have I have both fats and carbs in here because the nuts have some fats and the bananas carbs. Blueberries got a little more than half a cup, so some carbs from that. I have a jar of celery that I'm going to eat for more fiber. And anyway, this meal is full of fiber and protein, and I'm ready to sit down and break my fast. I'm going to do the end of the day video right now while I have a few quiet minutes with another grandchild. My husband is outside with the grandson, and I'm sitting here in the family room with the grand girl. And so Ganny and Grandpapa are on duty babysitting, so the parents can have a date tonight. They're celebrating our son's graduation, getting his MBA. So now both mother and father have their MBA, and my husband and I are here enjoying helping out by taking care of the grandchildren. We just finished serving them dinner, and my husband went outside to swing with the grandson, even though it's hot here in Texas. At least the backyard is shaded. So I just took my post-meal glucose. I've taken 2 now, and the first one I took was 90, maybe 2 hours after I finished eating that yogurt bowl. And the one I just took now is 91. So I'm staying in the same range, having a good post-meal glucose response. I think I was 81 when I started the meal, and 81 is my glucose trigger. So we'll consider this the end of day 22 of my 30-day health challenge.